Welcome to the Breakup Recovery Podcasts by your host, Barbara Stevens. Discover the wisdom and remarkable insights of Barbara Stevens, breakup recovery mentor, author, and public speaker. Barbara offers programs and solutions for any breakup so you can turn your life around, create lasting changes for the better, and embrace life again.
Hello and welcome to Breakup Recovery Podcast. I'm Barbara Stevens and I'm a breakup recovery mentor. And in this episode, I have with me Susie and Otto Collins. Welcome, Susie and Otto.
Thanks, Barbara. It's great to be with you. Thanks for having us.
You know, this is the first time that I've had a duo on my podcast, so I'm looking forward to seeing how this all goes.
Oh, it'll be great.
So tell me, Susie and Otto, what do you actually do?
We're relationship coaches, we're authors, we're speakers, and really what we do is we've spent our time for the last 18 years or so just really doing what we can to make a difference in people's relationships and lives. Some of our most popular books: How to Heal Your Broken Heart, Should You Stay or Should You Go, Magic Relationship Words, just to name a few.
And No More Jealousy.
I forgot about No More Jealousy.
Yeah, we've studied a lot of topics and written about them, about relationships.
So tell me about your book, How to Heal a Broken Heart.
Well, in our book, and it's really book and audio, we talk about how to actually get past that horrible period where you just don't know what to do. You've got all this on your mind and you just can't get through the next day. And we help you know that your thoughts can just get away from you and can just take you in all kinds of directions, and that you don't really have to believe them. And so in this course, we help you with the initial stage, and then after that, and kind of getting on your feet again, actually.
One of the big things I think that people, really struggle with is they think that, they're going through a breakup. And one of the things that we try to help people to understand is what you're going through is normal, but it doesn't feel and it doesn't seem normal. And at the same time, when you're going through this painful experience of a breakup or a divorce or a separation, or even if you've just been rejected when you really wanted to be with someone when you were just dating, it can be devastating.
And you can take it personally, which
we all do.
Yeah, we all do. I love what you have on your site, Barbara, where you say you're going to be okay. I just think that that's what people going through breakups have to know. You're going to be okay.
I guess with working together, you can give both perspectives from a male point of view and a female point of view. Do you think that your clients find that helpful?
Well, one of the things that they really find helpful, in addition to what you just said, the male point of view and the female point of view, is as far as our story, our personal story. Susie and I have been together, at the time that we're talking to you, Barbara. This is year 19 for us. And so prior to us getting together almost 19 years ago now, we were both with other people, and those marriages ended. Susie was married to somebody else for 30 years. I was married to somebody else for 15 years. And when those marriages ended, then we got together, after both of our marriages broke up and so forth. And so the perspective that we're coming from that's a little interesting is I was the one that left my ex-wife. Susie was the one that was left.
So we can speak to both sides of it and the pain of both sides. Being in a long marriage and then having it break up when I was over 50 was pretty devastating. But what I came to find out was that we were both better off, my ex-husband and I. And, if we hadn't broken up, I wouldn't be with Otto now, which absolutely would have been terrible.
Would have been terrible.
Right.
Yeah, and the other perspective is that, because Susie's older than I am, she has a daughter who, how old was your daughter when you and your ex broke up, Susie?
Oh, she was in her 30s, I guess.
Yeah. And so my son, when I decided that I was leaving my previous marriage, my son was 8 years old. So that's the perspective of really getting to see all kinds of different sides to, breaking up. How do you heal?
And how do you start dating again? When do you start dating again?
Yeah, because there are so many conflicts about, that people say, what should you do? What should you not do? And we broke all the rules when we got together. People say, well, you should wait a year or you should wait 6 months before you get serious. And for a lot of people, that's good advice. For us, once we got together, and it was only just a few months after our previous marriages ended, we basically were together ever since then. And this is not something we necessarily advise people to do, but we did a lot of our healing work when we were new in our relationship. And I think you're always doing your healing work. But, as I say, that's not something we necessarily recommend, but
it worked for us.
It worked for us.
Do you think you both helped heal each other?
Oh, of course. And, Barbara, I think what really helped was our attitude that we were going to be different in this relationship. We were going to learn how to communicate because we didn't really do a good job in our previous marriages. We were going to learn how to love each other and keep loving each other and keep the spark alive. So we really set out with this relationship having a very different, I think, expectations and just a different way of looking at it. So I think that in itself helped us to keep our love alive because we've been married and together almost 20 years now. And it's still wonderful.
Yeah, and that's one of the places that we come from, both in our own relationship and in our coaching work that we do with individuals, who've gone through, breakups and divorces and so forth, is we come from this place of you're in relationship with someone to heal, to learn, and to grow. And when you're going through a breakup or a divorce, you don't want to hear that. Well, I don't want to grow. I want to be with this person, this person that I love or this person I really wanted to be with. But we look at relationships as, it's a personal and a spiritual growth path. And it's not always pleasant. It's not always fun. But if you really see that, the people that enter your life, everybody that enters your life, is there to help you to heal, to learn, and to grow, and also to be the best version of yourself you can possibly be, and also to have a good time while you're together.
That's a definite. Tell me what made you decide to share your message as coaches and mentors.
Well, I think that we started out, and as I said, we're going to learn how to talk to one another, how to communicate, because we didn't before in our previous marriages. And we both had other jobs, doing other things. And we decided, we're just going to start writing. And we had a newsletter that we still have. We started in 1999, and we've still written a weekly newsletter every week since then. And we just started sharing what was working for us.
That led into, books and courses and programs and coaching. And, way back then, we had no idea what we were talking about other than what was working for us. And then, of course, over the years, we've taken a lot of coach training programs. We studied with many of the best coaches and teachers of relationships and spiritual growth, just about anybody that you could name, that's done programs like that. We've studied with a lot of people. And so we now have the theory behind why what we were doing was working. And so that's made a big difference. But it just started out, we just wanted to share from our hearts what was working for us so that we could help other people not go through the pain that we went through before.
Susie, I'd like to ask you a question. When you broke up and you said you're in your 50s, do you think it's a difficult process when you're older, when you break up?
I've coached a lot of people and talked to a lot of people who are in a lot of pain at all ages for breaking up. But I think that women over 50, it really hits them hard, as it did me, because you haven't dated for a long time and you just don't know who you are because you've probably raised a family and you've taken care of a husband for years and years, and you just don't know who you are or what's next. And I remember feeling like I didn't want to let go of the trapeze because I didn't know where the other one was to grab a hold of. Took me quite a while to say to my ex-husband, yes, I will divorce you, because he did want a divorce. And it was, okay, I really don't want to let go of you, even though I know it's over. So yes, I think it's very difficult. It's difficult at any age, but I think especially it's a wonderful opportunity, but it's also pretty scary.
Susie, do you think that one of the reasons it's scary for women especially is that the story that people over 50 tell themselves that I'm getting older now and my possibilities for finding love are over?
Right. And there's no man out there for me. You know, all the good men are taken. I got a man who was 16 years younger, so that was not my sight. I had no idea that I didn't set out to do that, but it just happened. So anything can happen. I think that's what I'd want to share.
And with you, Otto, you said that you were the one who decided to leave your ex-wife.
Yeah.
Do you think when you make that decision to leave your partner, the breakup is as devastating for you as it is for the other person?
You know, in hindsight, you can never know what somebody else is truly going through, but, everybody's process is different. And, I knew that it was the right thing, and I had no idea at the time how much healing I would have to go through, even though I was the one that made the decision to break up. And, that was the big thing. And the other big thing for me in my particular case, my son was 8 years old. And that was especially tough, knowing that, the whole fairy tale, life that everyone wants, to keep the family together and to live happily ever after as a family unit, I'd broken that up. And that was painful. And to know that you're going to miss a lot of things. And I did miss a lot of things. But the good news is that it depends on your commitment. And my commitment was that I was leaving my son's mother and I wasn't leaving him. And so to this day, my son and I have a great relationship. He's now 27 and we talk all the time. As I say, have a great relationship. There's so many tough things about it. And you don't know what you're going to go through until you start going through it. All these things start popping up, the stories in your head about what it means. Like in my case, financial contributions, how you're going to support your child from a previous marriage. Are you going to be friends with your ex? Are you going to get along? Parenting or co-parenting decisions. It's all really tough. And all the challenges of the marriage can just be magnified many times over when you break up like that and you've got a young child especially.
Do you think it's more difficult for a male to heal emotionally? Because I know with a breakup comes so many issues that you have to deal with, like the co-parenting and like the financial side. But in terms of emotional healing, what did you do to get through your breakup?
What I did was I didn't run from my own pain.
He cried a lot.
I cried a lot. And that's one of the things that a lot of men will do, and it's also something that a lot of men won't do, is really, a lot of men will hide from the reality of the pain that they're going through. They want to play like they're, really super tough and that nothing gets to them. And it does. That no matter, how tough you are, it doesn't matter, what you've been through in your life, the emotional things are still there and they can still get to you, and they do get to you because you're human. We all have this human side to us that we want love. We want to be, we want to have that connection. And when that, breakup or divorce happens, it's painful. And the only way through it is to go through it. And in my case, as Susie said, every day was a new challenge. And then the healing, just one day, the next day was different. And I learned a lot. I cried a lot. And, I sought therapy. I studied relationships. I wanted to know why it happened. Not why it happened from a perspective of, how could it go wrong, as in that other person is the bad guy or the bad gal, making them wrong. But I wanted to know why it went wrong so that I could, do it differently the next time. And that was my commitment to myself.
And one thing, Barbara, I want to say, not to interrupt Otto, but the healing that I saw most happen was when he realized that his ex-wife wasn't going to apologize for her part or take any kind of ownership for the relationship ending. When he let that go, there was a lot of healing that happened. And this wasn't that many years ago, really.
Yeah, for a long time, I was really attached to the idea that she owned her part in the dance, her part in the breakup. And, that, as Susie says, I would agree with that. Until I let go of my attachment to anything about what she did or didn't do, that was something that was a big breakthrough.
Yes, I agree. I think that comes down to any argument you have with anybody, that you can't expect them to be thinking the way you think, and in order for you to move forward, you can't expect an apology of some sort. So thank you for sharing that with us, Otto. And thank you, Otto and Susie, for coming on to Breakup Recovery Podcast. If people want to get in contact with you, how's the best way they do that?
The best way for anyone to get in touch with us, go to our website, which is susieandotto.com. That's SUSIEANDOTTO.com. That's the best place. susieandotto.com. It's Susie and Otto Collins. They can just Google us and Susie and Otto Collins, and we'll come up there as well.
Thank you so much for coming on to Breakup Recovery Podcast. I've had a great time talking to the two of you. You've been very generous in your advice and your tips and your strategies for other people that are going through their breakups. So thank you.
Oh, thanks, Barbara. We really loved being with you.
Thanks so much for having us.
If you feel that you are still struggling with your breakup, if you are experiencing intense feelings of anger, resentment, and bitterness, and it is taking over your life, I'm here to help you in this area of moving on and coping after your breakup. I work with my clients one-on-one through my mentoring program. If you want to learn more about how we can work together, contact me via email or my Facebook page, Barbara Stevens Breakup Recovery Mentor, and book in for my free 30-minute sounding board session, and we can set up a time that suits. In this free session, you will walk away with clarity about your situation, strategies and tools to start building the future you deserve, so together we can start your journey of recovery. All my information is on my website, www.barbarastevens.com.au. If you don't want to miss an episode of Breakup Recovery Podcast, subscribe on iTunes, and I would appreciate it if you could take the time to write a review and rate the podcast. Also feel free to message me with any questions that you have about Breakup Recovery podcasts or subjects that you want me to cover in future podcast episodes by clicking on the contact button of my website
or my Facebook page. I'm always looking for ways to help you recover from your breakup. And the last thing I'd like to say is, be gentle on yourself. You deserve happiness.
If you would like to hear previous Breakup Recovery podcasts, visit barbarastevens.com.au. Connect with Barbara Stevens on social media with Barbara Stevens Breakup Recovery Mentor on Facebook and at You'll Be Okay on Twitter. Read further blogs, view webinar replays, and download your free ebook, 3 Easy Steps to Surviving Your Breakup, and much more at barbarastevens.com.au.